أهلا وسهلا، مرحبا بكم في درس جديد. كيف حالكم؟ أرجو أن تكونوا بخير. Today's lesson is the last one out of the singular pronouns series, and it will be about the attached form of Arabic personal pronouns. What is that? Let's rewind first. As previously stated, Arabic personal pronouns are more elaborated than their English analogues. Not only they differ according to gender for the second person and the plural form, and also have a dual version, they additionally have syntax-wise two forms, separate and attached. Now, and by the way, this part is completely new. Given that each separate personal pronoun has its own attached version and that we are still within the limits of the singular form, we will limit ourselves today to the singular form of attached personal pronouns as well. So let's get started. To begin with, what is an attached pronoun? This concept does not exist in English, isn't it? Well, yes and no. Let me explain. Even though the technical term and the way these pronouns are attached to words don't exist in English, they do have an equivalent, and that is possessive adjectives. Be careful, please. As I said, adjectives in English, not pronouns. It's crucial. Right. That is to say, but in other words, the Arabic language has its own way to express possession. And the question that arises here is, how do we say, for example, my book, your book, his book, and her book in Arabic? Let's delve in to find the answer. The equivalent for the just mentioned English possessive adjectives are the Arabic attached personal pronouns written right in front of you. Starting with my, the equivalent of my is the letter ya, but not the regular one. As you can see, nothing is written on top of the letter, i.e. it's not in conjunction with any short vowel or diacritic, which means that it is a long vowel. Well done. More details will be provided shortly afterwards with the examples. Moving on. As you can see, your has two equivalents, and you were probably expecting that, did you? Since we have already seen that the second person has two equivalents in Arabic, anta and anti, so seeing that coming is kind of easy to predict. So ka masculine and ki feminine. Next, for his, it is the letter ha in conjunction with the dhamma, which is nothing but who. And last but not least, the equivalent of her is her. Now, in contrast with the English language, which syntax-wise places its possessive adjectives right before the nouns, the Arabic language does not. In fact, the attached form of Arabic personal pronouns, which is the equivalent of English possessive adjectives, has to fulfill two requirements, and these are: Number 1, syntax-wise they should come as a suffix, i.e. they should be attached to the end of the word. And number 2, this word is not chosen randomly, it has to be an indefinite noun, which means that definite ones are out of question. Brilliant! So all in all, the attached form of Arabic personal pronouns is nothing but the equivalent of English possessive adjectives. However, they come as suffixes and they have to be attached to the end of nouns. I cannot stress this enough. Nouns, not any other part of speech, because otherwise it will be another story. Right, enough theory, my friends. Let's see the situation on the ground. Starting with the first person, and let's see how do we say my book in Arabic. I'm going to start from scratch to highlight a couple of important details along the way, so I would really appreciate if you pay extra attention. A book is called in Arabic kitabun. Kindly note tanween al-dhamm as a sign of indefiniteness. Now, if the book is mine, it will no longer be indefinite, instead it will be a definite one, since we now know the owner. Thus, we will have to get rid of tanween or dam in order to pave the path for the suffix to be attached in an indication of the owner, which is myself. That's number 1. Number 2, since the attached pronoun ya comes as a suffix, we have to attach it from the left side to the letter ba. Now, what's written in front of you is erroneous. Do you know why? As previously stated, the suffix ya is a long vowel, and in order for it to properly function as so, not only it should not be in conjunction with any type of diacritic, but it also should be preceded by a kasrah. Hence, we will have to change the movement mark of the letter ba to a kasrah, resulting in kitabi, and that's the correct answer. So how do we say my book in Arabic? We do say kitabi. I know it might seem challenging at first, but just give it enough time to fall into place. It's only a matter of getting used to it. Moving on to the second person, again from scratch we will work our way up to say your book in Arabic. Again, a book is called kitabun, and here we have two options in terms of suffixes. Ka is used if the person spoken to is a male, and ki is used if the person spoken to is a female. So first thing first, get rid of the sign of indefiniteness to allow the suffixes to join safely and replace it with its corresponding single vowel, which gives us kitabu, and then add the suffixes. No need to change anything else, we are no longer dealing with long vowels. So your book is kitabuka if you are talking to a male and kitabuki if you are talking to a female. So one more time, kitabuka and kitabuki. Next, last but not least, we have the third person. Again, same logic, kitabun becomes kitabu and then add the suffixes. For him it would be kitabuhu and for her it would be kitabuha. One more time, kitabuhu, kitabuha. As simple as it gets. So by and large, my book is kitabi, your book is kitabuka or kitabuki, depending on the gender of the person spoken to. The first is masculine and the second is feminine. Then we have his book, kitabuhu, and her book, kitabuha. That's about it. Now let's end this lesson with two important notes. Number 1, the omission of tanween at the end of all nouns combined with the attached personal pronouns is not only due to identifying the owner, even though that's part of the process. The main reason behind that is that attached personal pronouns belong to the part of speech al-ismu and are classified as definite nouns. And at this stage, you probably all know that definiteness and indefiniteness cannot coexist in one word, and that the presence of the first cancels the latter. How? By replacing tanween by its corresponding single vowel every single time before adding the suffix. The extra step of transforming the last short vowel that comes right before the suffix into a kasrah is only necessary for the suffix ya, since it is a long vowel and it cannot function as so without being preceded by a kasrah. Right, on to the second note. And this one is definitely out of the beaten track, so have a good listen please. When we add one of the attached pronouns studied today to a noun, this process has a technical term. We do call it annexation or idafa. And what we have seen today is a glimpse of this process, which consists in putting one noun after another so that the second indicates possession or further define the nature of the first one. That is to say that each one of today's examples is an idafa construction. And I'm glad to inform you that our upcoming series will be dedicated to providing you with more information about this process of combining two nouns together and what makes it different from the adjectival phrases that we have already come across. So stay tuned, my friends. Meanwhile, take extra good care and أراكم لاحقاً.